Hey, Satanico here for Godlovescomics, and finally we're back. And with Alan Moore's epic Miracleman, as promised, I guess his first epic, because he was a relatively new comic writer at the time, and he got his hands on Miracleman for Warrior magazine in Great Britain, and this would become one of his first masterpieces. You see, this is a new cover for the collection by Marvel. I'm thinking Mark Buckingham. I don't think it's Gary Leach, but I'm actually not sure because I don't see it accredited. This is Gary Leach here on the back cover for sure. See a couple of hyperbolic blurbs. And then this is Joe Quesada and Richard Eisenoff. Doesn't look so bad for, I guess, a pamphlet version, #1. And then this is the table of contents, of course, with, as you can see where the cursor is, a story by the original writer and art by Gary Leach. This is the original writer is, of course, Alan Moore. Even though Mick Anglo created Miracleman, Alan Moore is the original writer, of course, of this. He completely remade the whole thing, and one is name taken off of it, of course. It's a very long and convoluted story about the ownership and the copyright. It was in copyright limbo for quite a long time. Todd McFarlane owned the copyright. There was a big lawsuit with between him and Neil Gaiman. Gaiman eventually won, gave the copyright over to Marvel, I suppose, and also the character of Angela that he created for Spawn. So, pretty much stuck the shiv in Todd's back, or maybe Todd's front, and maybe Todd deserved it, I'm not sure. But Alan Moore doesn't want any part of this, of course, so he's had his name taken off of it entirely, much as he's done with other films of his work, and he just doesn't want any association with this, and particularly not with Marvel itself. We're going to skip over this. If I can ever figure out how to skip over this. This is a Prologue by Mick Anglo that goes back to 1956, supposedly, because it's just a Golden Age parody, sort of the Marvel family from Fawcett Comics. That's what I think, where you had Mary Marvel and Marvel Boy, etc., and you have Kid Miracleman, so young Miracleman, etc. So very much sort of the corny, intentionally corny sort of Golden Age parody. But done in 1985. The series was started in 1982, so this isn't even actually an actual prologue of the series. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to read this to start off. So we're going to skip ahead to here. And one caveat is that Alan Moore, of course, is writing... Alan Moore's British, and so he's writing in a British voice and a British accent for most of his characters, particularly prior to his stuff for the American audience. So V for Vendetta and particularly Miracleman as well. You get a lot of bloodies and Ennets, but of course I'm American. These characters are British, but I'm American, and all I can do is speak in my own American accent. I don't want to attempt a cartoonish British accent. Hello, governor, or anything like that. So we're going to just do our best with the British slang, and you can just take into account that these are, of course, British characters, British people, and I apologize for any mistakes I may make. Behold, I teach you the Superman. He is this lightning. He is this madness. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche. Thus spake Zarathustra. (1982). In the sodium-lit hours before dawn, the gray trucks roll north. Some carry breakfast cereal, some carry ball bearings, some are empty, and some are not. Yeah, but, will the guys be alright back there, Steve? You mean you're losing your bottle, Trevor? Me old son? Course they'll be alright. It's the plutonium that's bothering you, innit? Listen... We lift it, we sell it, we hop it. No big deal, Trev. No big deal at all. Yeah, but nukes, man. I thought we'd be selling arms to, the people. Nukes are really heavy. Know what I mean? Trevor, mate, you're talking through your posterior. I met a Yank in Angola who said he'd seen one go up at Yucca Flats. He said it was bloody fantastic. He said, Steve, mine eyes have seen the glory. Ain't that a nice way of putting it? Right. Mine eyes have seen the glory. Ha ha. He was a comedian. And no mistake, nice chap. The communists shot him. Shame, really. Yeah. Christ, this guy's a psycho. Through the cold, gray dawn, the trucks head north. Somewhere not far away, Michael Moran is screaming. Michael Moran is having the dream again. It isn't a good dream. A dream of flying, which of course most people have and most people enjoy, but this is not the one. It's a dream of snow and of fireballs, a dream of death and numbing vertigo, a dream of flying. There is no fear at first, only the eerie keening of the wind, the swirling, silent blizzard, and the cold, sharp thrill of altitude. He is not alone. Like the firebirds in the red and yellow, two other figures soar beside him. He cannot see their faces. His power courses through his veins like molten silver. His muscles move through precise grace beneath his skin. He knows he is invincible. And it is then that he sees the vast gray shape that floats in the churning white. It is then that the fear starts. Contemptuous of gravity, it hangs in the empty space before them like a massive bloated spider. Filthy with soot and oil, it stains the air. The fear is there, coiled in his stomach as he watches, unable to look away. The spider is laying an egg that burns like the sun. Like Gaudi, incautious moths, his companions plunge toward him, the horror, leaving him in their wake. Can't they see? Don't they know what happens next? The sky catches fire and he's screaming and burning. He sees his friend, the one in red. Something bad is happening to him. First he flickers, a strobing Doppler image against the snow, and then he explodes. And then there is only the inferno about him as he falls, inexplicably. A word forms on scorched lips, a dream word with alien syllables. The last thing he hears is the sound of thunder. No! No. Mike, what's wrong? I had the dream again, Liz. I'm sorry I woke you. Oh, Mike. Oh, Christ. Got a migraine, too. Shall I phone the paper and tell them that you can't make the Lark smear assignment? I mean, maybe they could send somebody else. It's too late to do that. Anyway, I make little enough as a freelance journalism as it is. Of this freelance journalism as it is. I can't afford to throw work away just because I've got a headache. It's not just about the headaches, Mike. What about the dreams you've been having? You've been having them for years. Maybe if you just slow down a little. Liz, we've been through all this before. Your job nearly keeps us both as it is. I should be the one who earns the money, not you. The dreams don't matter anyway. It's a silly attitude, Mike. It doesn't matter who earns the money as long as... Liz, please. I know you mean well, but I'd just as soon drop the subject. Anyway, I'd better get going. I want to be in Larksmere by 10. I've got to catch an early train. Now standing at the platform, 7 will be leaving for the Lake District at 6:45. Passengers for Oxenholme should... I shouldn't have just slouched out through like that. Liz is right. I'm not in any shape for work today. The migraine I could just about take, but not the dream. Why can't I figure out what it means? Recurring dreams just mean something. If only I could remember that damn word. Kimono. No Komodo. No Krakatoa. No, Jesus, this headache. I hope it's gone before I arrive at Larksmere. Lakeland Paradise or H-Bomb Hell. How's that for a headline? I'm wasted as a photographer. I could have won a Pulitzer for my captions, don't you think? Sorry, Paul, I wasn't listening. Just about absorbing some radiation. Just out absorbing some radiation. That sign. Kid sticking his tongue out, the other kid smiling. Oh, yeah, right. You were thinking about your story angle. If I was you, I'd interview some of them friends of the earth. Good copy that. Always go for the human interest. I say pick out the loonies and interview them. Paul, I've got a headache. I'm trying to cover the opening in my own way. I'd appreciate it if you'd... Like those guys. There with the machine guns. Machine guns? I can't see any machine guns. Alright, if any of you security people start acting up, we fire on the crowd. Drop your guns and there'll be no violence. Good. Now I'd like everyone to sit down on their hands and their heads. With their hands on their heads. If you feel the urge to scratch or stretch, I'd advise you to suppress it. A gentleman of the press will escort us into the power station. If everyone behaves, they'll escort us out again too. Hey, as a representative of the alternative press, I demand to know what's going on, man. You'll find out at the press conference inside. Now move it, man, or I'll shoot you. Press conference? Who are these people? Inside. Gentlemen, you are privileged to be present at the historic occasion, the world's first plutonium hijack. A little less noise, please. I want you to hear all the details so you can convey them to your editors, to your readers, and to our prospective customers. The publicity angle is very important. We will leave you here for 10 minutes with a number of plutonium isotopes. Nobody will stop us. The plutonium, easily enough to make a score of hydrogen bombs, will be auctioned amongst the world's terrorist organizations. The words clatter. The migraine bites down. The room begins to spin. All around him there are voices, some pleading, some angry. Hey, this man's sick. He needs some air. He's right, Steve. This guy looks like he's gonna die. We better get him outside. And then he is being manhandled down the corridor. He feels dizzy. There is fear in his stomach. This sick act better not be a snow job, son. Chum. You understand? It reminds him of the dream. Snow. He's dragged through a swing door. Glass glints. A legend flickers out from the haze. Suddenly the word is there, swimming before him, blurred through the fog of pain and nausea, but as recognizable as destiny. Almost. His lips move. The word is barely a whisper. Komoda. The whisper is drowned by the thunder. The screams of the man called Steve are lost in the sudden flood of light. His face is seared and blistered. His eardrums have burst. His eyes have seen the glory. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, I'm blind. I can't see. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Steve, man, are you all right? Like, we heard that bang and who the hell are you? Me? I'm Miracleman. I'm Miracleman. I remember now. Miracleman, all right. Okay, Miracleman. Let's just keep this cool. Like, just tell us what you did to Steve, and, like, we won't hurt you. No, you won't hurt me. I'm Miracleman. I said stay back. You think I'm stupid, man? You're with the SAS, right? Well, I ain't scared of you, you people. You're pigs, and pigs get barbecued. Paduk, baduk. Kazing, zing, zing. Oh, Jesus, look at him. I'm shooting him, and he's smiling. This isn't happening. This guy's not human. That's right. I'm not human. I'm Miracleman. He swings his hands together, and thunder bursts from between them. And then there's silence. 18 years. 18 years trapped in that old, tired body. It doesn't matter. Deathly silence. It's over now. And just blast through the roof. I'm Miracleman. I'm back. Great triumphant panel there. The beginning. This story is respectfully dedicated to Mick Anglo and the original Marvel Man team. And news is coming in of the events reported to have happened this morning at the opening of the nuclear power station in the Lake District. An attempt was made by a group of armed men to steal a large quantity of plutonium from the station, which is situated at Larksmere. A number of witnesses at the site claim to have seen a man-like object rising into the sky at tremendous speed. Experts have indicated that this was probably an example of mass hysteria brought on by the tense nature of the situation. Although reports are yet to be confirmed, it appears that many of the terrorists are now in the hospital suffering from severe concussion. One of the raiders, a man in his early 30s, is said to have second-degree burns. As yet, these injuries are inexplicable. A freelance photographer at the site, Mr. Paul Duncan, submitted a picture of what does appear to be a human figure in flight, although... Yawn, Mike. That you? I must have dozed off. I didn't hear you come in. How did it go at Larksmere? Oh my God. Who are you? Listen, I don't know what you did with my husband. My husband would be back at any moment. He looks like a god. The words dry up, turning to ash in her mouth. Your husband is back. It's me, Liz. It's Mike. Listen, you've got 1 minute to get out of here before I call police. She's dreaming. Even as she knows, she backs away. She knows she's dreaming. What are you saying? You're not my husband. No, he isn't. He can't be. And yet, look at me, Liz. Not my body. Look at me. And yet the voice, the eyes. It's been 16 years since Liz Sullivan married Michael Moran. She knows him with her eyes, her ears, her body. She knows him. Mike? Mike, what's happened to you? He holds her, and his touch is as frictionless as mercury. The restrained power in his arms makes her feel like glass. Sit down, I'll make some coffee. Thank you. I'll make some coffee. The words are so mundane, so reassuringly normal. Yet he looks like a god. Over coffee. Okay, wherever I start, this will sound unbelievable. So I may as well go straight in at the deep end. When I was 14 in 1954, I was working as a copy boy for a paper called the Daily Bugle. The Daily Bugle? Is that a Marvel change? I worked hard, and I made a little money, and one night, I had a vision. His voice is like a pool of gold, dazzling, mesmeric. As he describes that dreamlike evening, 27 years passed, his vision becomes hers. She sees the boy cowering before the impossible specter that had conjured itself from that night. Holy macaroni! But what's that got to do with me? Greetings, Mickey Moran. I am Guntag Borghelm. I am the astrophysicist whose studies have taken him far beyond the dull concerns of mere mortals. The key harmonic of the universe is mine to command, a word which when spoken bestows godlike power upon its speaker. This is my gift to mankind. You have been chosen, Mickey Moran, for your courage, for your honesty. Special powers are yours to be used for the good of humanity. You need only speak the word. Komota. Komota! In her vision, she hears the deafening peal of thunder, feels the wind from beyond the lash the boy's trembling body. She sees him transformed. It's impossible. What am I? You are Miracleman, champion of justice, enemy of evil. Use your powers wisely, my son, for now I must bid you farewell. With great power comes great responsibility. Stanley. And then he was gone. It was like coming out of a dream. But I had proof that it had been real. I found I could fly, that I had tremendous strength. I was invulnerable to all harm. I was Miracleman. Liz, you're laughing. What's wrong? I'm sorry, Mike, but that's such a bloody, stupid story. Miss Alan Moore sort of poking fun at the whole concept, but he has to give some sort of origin story. It's very much like Captain Marvel's. Shazam, I should say. Shazam is the same word, it's a word and same as Komota, but it's actually Captain Marvel. Can't you see it? An astrophysicist pops up and tells you the key harmonic of the universe, which just happens to turn you into a muscle man in a blue leotard. I'm sorry, Mike. I really am, but that's just so stupid. I suppose you're right. Actually, saying it out loud like that, it does sound, well, pretty unlikely. I mean, I never really thought about it before, but I had to believe it. Don't you see? I mean, I was Miracleman. I was a being of almost unlimited power. I wasn't the only one. Within a year, I was joined by another young man with atomic powers like mine. His name was Dickie Dauntless. You're laughing again. Oh, Mike, Dickie Dauntless? That was his name? Come off it. I'm sorry. Please go on. Dickie only had to say the word Miracleman, and he became young Miracleman. He had powers like mine. He was my friend. We fought crime together in 1956 when we were joined by Miracle Dog. Liz, please. This may sound, damn it. I mean, it does sound silly in 1982, but in the 50s, it made perfect sense. This is how I remember it. This is how it happened. In 1956, we were joined by Johnny Bates. He was a little kid of maybe 7 or 8. When we said my name, he became Kid Miracleman. They called us the Miracleman family. Exactly like the Marvel family, of course. During the years we were together, we fought the strangest villains of all time. Villains like the Firebug and Young Nasty Man. Don't say the word. The most troublesome of the lot, the freakish dwarf genius called Dr. Gargunza. Time and time again, we thwarted his insane plans and jailed him. But somehow he always came back. And yet he never did anything really evil. It was almost as if we were all playing a game which neither side took entirely seriously. And that's the crux of Mort's concept here, is that, I mean, the evil villains never did anything particularly evil, genuinely evil in these Golden Age comics, and there was always a fight back and forth, even though actually the Fawcett Captain Marvel's, while they were not excessively violent, a lot of other Golden Age comics, including even some superhero comics, were very violent at times. So, but as you can expect, Mr. Moore is going to take that to a different level. And how do you expect me to? I mean, look, I'll accept the fact that you're somehow a foot taller, you're 20 years younger, and you're still my husband. Lord knows why, I just will. But all this other stuff, Miracleman family, young nasty man. I mean, Mike, if there had really been a Miracleman in the 50s, wouldn't I have heard about him? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe they hushed it up or something because of what happened in 1963. Don't tell me a couple more Miracle Boys turned up and you formed a football team. Damn you, Liz, you're laughing at my life. The floor is solid oak. He splinters it to matchwood. And she believes. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't realize when I saw you. It doesn't matter. Even if all I've said so far sounds like a joke, what happened in 63 most definitely wasn't. It was one day in October when the Miracleman family received the alert. Gargunza had some kind of sky fortress hovering over the North Sea. It was snowing as we set off, snowing hard, but we were in high spirits. It was a game just like our other adventures. No one ever got hurt. Until now, perhaps. We saw the fortress hanging in the sky like a bloated spider. Straight away, my flesh began to crawl. Something was horribly wrong. I hung back. I knew there was something terrible concealed in that thing, something that could hurt us. I tried to warn the others, but it was no use. It was an A-bomb, Liz. An A-bomb. It wasn't a game anymore. The blast hit me and it hurt. Nothing had ever hurt me before. As I fell, I started to black out. But before I did, I saw a sight of Dickie. Dickie with a stupid name. There were two of him, two bodies crushed into one, and he was screaming. I couldn't hear him, but he was screaming. When I woke up, it was 2 months later. I was Mickey Moran, and I was in the hospital. I'd been found in Suffolk marshes with terrible burns and most of my bones broken. I managed to piece my life back together again as little Mickey Moran. But I didn't remember that I'd ever been Miracleman. Not until nearly 20 years later, not until this morning at the power station. Then that story on the news about the flying man, that was you? Drink your coffee before it gets cold. I'll tell you all about it. As Liz Moran listens, eyes wide with fear and wonder, her coffee grows cold anyway. And she believes. While in a darkened office not too far away, picture of what appears to be a human figure in flight, but may merely be a hurtling fragment of debris caused by Miracleman. He's back. Back to spoil everything. A door slams shut. A TV babbles into the empty room. It has begun. And may the Lord have mercy upon us all. So that's a pretty juicy cliffhanger. And get a little bit of behind the scenes action. Some really nice pencils here. Gary Leach's beautifully rendered cover to Warrior number 2, 1982. And layouts of the... Gary Leach repurposed this panel from Miracleman number 1, Prologue, as a promotional flyer for the comic shops and conventions. Okay. And then that was the original cover. I actually have that copy as well. Eclipse In America, republished it. Lots of other stuff. Lots of other behind-the-scenes stuff, including a picture of Mick Anglo, the original creator, who hopefully is still alive even now. Oh. So, some black and white stuff from the originals. Okay. A lot of background stuff that is getting in the way of our story, isn't it? Sorry about that. Okay. Book 1, A Dream of Flying. And finally, issue number 2. The brittle February sunlight falls on Liz Moran, warm, asleep, and 36 years old. Liz Moran, formerly Elizabeth Sullivan. Liz Moran, professional illustrator and devoted wife. Liz Moran, 16 years a married lady. Her life is happy, comfortable, and resolved. It has been a long time since Liz Moran was surprised by who she woke up next to. Her skin remembers a touch that crackled like bare wires. Her eyes remember his eerie phosphorant grace. Oops, anytime I go. Sorry about that. She remembers the night before and she believes. She walks from the bedroom to the lounge, drifting small feet silent on the thick carpet. A china ornament, the polished wood of a tabletop touching. She reestablishes contact with the world, slowly retrieving her sense of pring. Pausing, she touches things, reality. Hello? Yes? Yes, that's right. I'm Miss Moran. Who did you say? I'm afraid he's still asleep. Did you want to ring back or, No, that's all right. I'll call him. This is titled When Johnny Comes Marching Home. Of course, this is Johnny Bates, Kid Miracleman. Mike, he won't be a moment. I think I can hear him getting out of bed. He's just coming. I'll hand you over to him. Hello? Yeah, this is Mike Moran. Yes, that's right. Listen, I'm sorry, but I didn't get your name. Who did you... You're joking. Johnny. I don't believe it. I thought you were dead. How did you... You saw that item on the news, yeah. Wasn't it? But how did you survive that? Oh, the phone? No. Sure, I understand. But I can see you, yeah. I know the place. You own it? Jesus Christ. No, yes, of course. We'll be over there in an hour or two. Bye. Well, I think we better skip breakfast and shower. Ready to go out. We've been invited to lunch by the president of Sunburst Cybernetics, a Mr. Jonathan Bates, formerly Kid Miracleman. When Johnny Comes Marching Home. Kind of a precursor maybe to Ozymandias from The Watchmen. Another rich super genius. Assuming he is a super genius, of course. This is incredible. I mean, just that he's still alive is incredible. But owning Sunburst Cybernetics into the bargain, that's really a lot more fun than being dead. Rats. Look at the sky. I thought today was going to be nice. Thunderheads, iron black in the blue distance. The air is suddenly dry and heavy. The sky holds its breath. It's coming this way and it's a monster. Well, that's foreshadowing for you. His office is on the top floor. They knock. He calls them in. He stands before a picture window, London sprawled submissively behind him. He smiles. He speaks. Mike. Mike, it's good to see you. John, oh Jesus. The crackling darkness rolls toward them across the sky like a great black bull, stupid with pain, its flanks pierced by silver darts. It's coming this way. A girl brings them Blue Mountain coffee, from Jamaica no less. And they talk about all the strangeness in their lives. They speak softly. It's been 18 years. And for all that time, you had no idea who you really were? That's incredible. 18 years. I think it's been 18 years since that day when we all flew out together into the snow. October the 12th, 1963, 18 years ago. As I recall, I was in the lead, so I was the first to approach the thing. I swooped over its low decks looking for some kind of life. Nothing. No noise, no movement, just snow drifting against the gray steel. And then suddenly I got a strange tingling sensation. I knew that something terrible was about to happen. Every nerve in my body was screaming for me to get out of there. In panic, I veered wildly up into the sky. Higher and higher I climbed, faster and faster. I nearly didn't make it. Like you, I woke up in the hospital several days later, suffering from a concussion and burns. Only I hadn't lost my memory. I just lost my powers. For 7 brief years, I'd been something more than human. Then all of a sudden, the magic went away. I was human again, and my friends were dead, or so I thought. It was difficult to adjust at first to being an ordinary 16-year-old kid again, but I did. I had to. I discovered I was good with electronics and eventually decided to set up a small business working from rented accommodation that saved my life. I did well, phenomenally well. Within 7 years, I'd managed to found Sunburst Cybernetics. We've been very lucky. We've made a lot of money. Now, 9 years later, we have branches all over the globe. Ironic, isn't it? To have lost one sort of power only to find another. One which has its responsibilities, I'm afraid. Liz, Mike, will you excuse me for 5 minutes? There's some letters that need signing. Go ahead, John, we're fine. Well, what do you think about him? What do you think? I think he's fascinating, magnetic, and quite sexy in a sinister sort of way. Lucky for you, I prefer ugly men. What about you? You haven't seen him since he was 16. Has he changed much? Yes, he has. Changed a lot. He returns, he talks wonderfully. His voice is soft and yet powerful, like the tread of a stalking tiger. Uneasy, Mike Moran can hear it prowling around the perimeter of their conversation. A tiger circling, closing in. It's coming this way and it's a monster. Anyway, enough about me. How about some lunch? Yeah, sure. Liz, do you think I could just speak to John alone for a moment? Liz Moran nods, smiling as the two men step out onto the balcony. She wonders what Mike needed to say that was not for her ears. Superhero talk. Storm's brewing up nicely, isn't it? It's a beauty. John, I listened to your story just now, Rags to Riches, Redemption through Honest Toil. It's a great story. I really wanted to believe it, John. But then halfway through, I get this funny idea into my head. I thought, what if he's lying? I tried to get rid of it. I tried, but I couldn't. I thought, what if he didn't lose his powers? What if he survived that blast that took out me and Dickie and was still Kid Miracleman? See the storm and the eyes. Because, of course, the storm is, in fact, Kid Miracleman himself. I tried to imagine what it would feel like to be the 16 years old and the most powerful creature on the face of the planet, and to be answerable to no one. You could do anything, John. You'd never need to turn back to dull, weak human Johnny Bates ever again. Oh, sure. You could take his name, his identity. You could stay as Kid Miracleman forever. You could have it all. Money, prestige, fame. You could sever all your links with humanity. You could become remorseless, unstoppable, and totally corrupt. Is that it, John? Is that what happened? You're still Kid Miracleman, aren't you? I can tell by your voice, by the way you stand. You're not human, John. I can feel it. Tiger eyes circling, dark clouds getting closer. Dark clouds scudding into his mind, vast and smothering in a tiger voice, soft in the juddering heart of the storm. Mike, you're being paranoid. You see that, don't you? Paranoid. But yes, I suppose you're right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's so difficult to think of all of a sudden, so hard to... John? John? Are you doing something to my mind? It's here, black and terrible inside his skull, its tendrils royal behind his eyes, dragging him down into the dark with no distractions, no interruptions. Mike, I'm sorry, but if we don't leave soon, the car will have a ticket, and... The clouds withdraw, uncertain, and for a moment the light of reason floods into his mind once more. He suddenly knows what he must do. Mike! Mike, you pushed him! You pushed him over the balcony! Mike! What have you... Oh my God! The cold lightning of fear skewers them, and they feel the terrible hunger in the heart of the storm. They see the smile on the face of the tiger. Miracleman. Once upon a time, there were 3 heroes. They knew magic words, they did good deeds, and they killed all the monsters and dragons. They were living happily ever after when one of them died. His name was young Miracleman. He died by fire. 1 up to the dragons. The second hero was called Miracleman. He came through the fire, but it made him forget he was a hero. He married and lived happily ever after. Mike, he isn't falling. Why, Mike? Until yesterday. Yesterday he remembered he was the hero. But it wasn't until today that he remembered about the dragons. The third hero was only a little boy. He was called Kid Miracleman, and he was very powerful. Without the other 2 heroes to bother him, he could do whatever he liked. Why isn't he falling? Dragons fight in the meadow. Their blood is black and yellow. From the Book of Changes. Why? Get out, Liz. Get out of the building. Get out of the area now, Liz. Run as far as you like, Miss Moran. I'll find you just as soon as I've finished killing your husband. Mr. Bates, did you? For to be human is not enough. When God's cry war amidst the thunder. Want coffee? Oh, Christ. You dropped the coffee, Stephanie. Her name is Stephanie. She likes Adam and the ants. Her boyfriend's name is Brian. She collects Wedgwood. Her insides have turned to water. She is only human. You dropped the coffee. He looks at the charred and pulverized thing that had met the gaze of a dragon. He wants to vomit, and he thinks that could have been Liz. He looks at the tiger smile and the dragon eyes of the thing that had once been a boy called Johnny Bates, and he wants to vomit, and he thinks that could have been me. Why, John? She hadn't done anything. Jesus Christ, why? Just to show you that I don't mind doing that sort of thing. In fact, I quite enjoy it. That's what I'm going to do to your wife. Kimota! Crashes through the exterior of the building and down however many floors to the bottom to the street below. Well, the old man said his magic word and turned into a big blue banana. Do you think you're safe now, old man? You haven't got it, have you? You were only a superhuman for 9 years. I've been one for the past 25. I'm stronger and I can do things you wouldn't believe. I can hurt you. It's Superman. Mom, look, it's Superman. He's using his X-ray vision. You said he wasn't real. Hey, are you Superman? I'm Wayne. I thought your film was great. Wayne, can you fly? Why, yes, Wayne. I'm Superman. I can fly. Would you like to fly, Wayne? Well, I mean, I don't... You see, my mom... Oh, my God, that child. He isn't going to. Come on, Wayne. Mom won't mind. She knows you're safe with Superman. Up, huh? He is. And away. Wayne. He's heading towards that wall. I've got to... Done it. He's all right. I caught him. I think I might have broken a couple of his ribs, the speed he was traveling. You see, I couldn't... I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. It was the speed. Give him to me, you bloody monster. Really like these panels right here. Wayne. Oh, God. Oh, love. Wayne. Thrack. Oh, God. He's knocked me into the sky. How did he get to be so strong? Why is he doing this? Why is he grown up while Miracleman hasn't aged? This is all too fast. I need time to think. No good. He's coming after me. Maybe if I can hide in the cloud bank, I can buy myself some time. Can't fight him yet. I'm afraid of him. Scared, Moran? Surely not. Surely the big, strong superhero isn't scared of the little kid he used to push around and patronize. It's no good hiding, old man. I told you, I'm stronger now. I can do things that you wouldn't believe. He concentrates. Positive ions begin to build in the swirling blackness around him. And nearby, skin tingling, aura starting to crackle. What's he doing? He's building a thunderbolt. It's got your name on it. There you are. What's the trouble, old man? Spot of air sickness? Then allow me to escort you down. Mach 1, threat. Mach 2, threat. Mach 3. Johnny! Crud. A crow-black shape drops from the seething hell of the sky down to the rim of the still smoldering crater. He's ready to fight again. His dragon eyes peer through the curtain of the dust, searching for a sign of life, of survival, but there is no sign. None at all. He smiles a tiger smile. After a while, he turns away to look at the city spread behind him. London, huddled against the stinging rain. He wonders what to do next. And another great cliffhanger. And guess what? We're not going to go 2 hours with this reading. I'm going to call it a day right there. And that is a very delectable taste. No telling how many people have been killed. This is essentially what it would be like if superheroes were real and the consequences were real. And if a superhero went insane, became a serial killer, essentially. It's been done many times before. There's been a lot of derivations of this concept. And there were maybe a few that preceded this, but the execution of this is so brilliant. And most of the derivative follow-ups have, of course, been superficial and superfluous compared to Alan Moore. So this is kind of the original. And certainly a prelude to what he ultimately did with Watchmen, which was very different, but also, similar in the sense of the real life consequences of superheroes. But anyway, that's it for the first episode of Alan Moore's Miracleman. And I'll be back very soon with episode number 2. Please like, comment, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. All that boring YouTube stuff. And thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. And I've enjoyed reading this. I hope you enjoyed listening. See you next time. To be continued. Bye.